Some horror movies open with a kill. Some open with a car driving on the highway, and then there's some that open with a seizure-inducing Pegasus horse and the Columbia lady changing into a ghost. But sometimes a horror movie opens with an original song. I'm not talking about a score or a pop song. Today we're taking a look at some opening tunes originally written for the movie. Also, to keep the list interesting, I decided not to include horror musicals, where an opening song kinda goes without saying. And also because it's kind of gay. So turn your volume up to 11 and let's take a look at my top 10 horror intro songs of all time. Number 10. Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
Can you make it so bad it's good movie on purpose? I don't know. That seems to be what they're going for in these movies, but I don't really like them. They're just too much over the top for me. I mean, where do you draw the line between clever parody and just juvenile hackiness? Here. Right here. Killer Tomatoes is where you draw that fucking line. Frankly, Return of the Killer Tomatoes is the only one I saw. Why? Because it stars George Clooney, and I had to see that to believe it. Yeah, I guess he really wanted a new car. Aside from that, the only thing that stuck with me after is the theme song, which is annoyingly catchy. I just couldn't get it out of my head. I would really hate this song if the lyrics weren't funny as hell.
The theme song still remains the same, the plot itself has hardly changed, a guaranteed bet for fortune and fame.
Also, call me crazy, but the melody reminds me of Mozart's Don Giovanni. I don't know if this is intentional, but it makes the song all the more hilarious to me. The movie may be trying too hard to get a laugh out of you, but this song genuinely does. No question. Number 9. The Road Leads to Nowhere, from The Last House on the Left.
Would you hurry up? Okay.
Wes Craven's directorial debut, The Last House on the Left, is a thoroughly unpleasant film. It is very dark, disturbing, violent and unforgiving. That is until the demented Home Alone stuff comes in around the third act. Then it becomes really ridiculous. Boy, I was really disturbed with all the violence until you included the part about biting off his cock. Also, there's a bunch of hokey acting, forced dialogue, and downright horrible pacing. Still, there's one big reason to see this flick. David Hess. He plays the leader of a group of rapists and murderers and delivers one of the scariest and most psychotic performances of all time.
I want you to take the gun, and I want you to put it in your mouth. And I want you to blow your brains out. No! Blow your brains out! Blow your...
He also did the soundtrack of the film, which is just as good a performance. Not only are the songs pretty damn good, at times his style even reminds me of Pink Floyd a little, but they're also used ironically in the movie, in the way that it never matches the tone of the sequence. This creates unease, and is a great way to start a horror movie off. We see images of a nice suburban neighborhood, with a cheesy postman and everything, and a young pretty girl in the shower. But the song suggests that something very tragic is awaiting just around the corner. The road leads to nowhere, a hint at the tragic and inevitable nature of the story, and a great way to open a dark and disturbing film.
Piss your pants.
Number 8. Blacula. The blaxploitation wave of the 70s produced some really silly movie titles. But Blacula is actually not as bad as it sounds. In fact, I find it to be one of the most entertaining vampire movies ever made. It opens with a very traditional gothic horror opening, reminiscent of the Hammer Studios horror films. It gives us the origin story of Blacula and the most racist Dracula ever put on film.
Slavery has merit, I believe.
Merit? You find merit in barbarity?
Barbarous from the standpoint of a slave, perhaps. It is a compliment for a man of my station to look with desire on one of your color.
I always knew he was a monster, but Jesus. After that sequence, the tone of the movie changes to something more, 70s. This is introduced by imaginatively animated opening titles and a groovy theme song. And it kicks ass. First I was afraid that this was going to be a very traditional vampire movie, that it would be just a blaxploitation version of the familiar Dracula story, but the first couple of notes of this song put all my fears to rest. Clearly, this is a vampire movie like we've never seen before. It's at that moment I knew this was going to be the funkiest vampire movie I would ever see. Well, the Buffy movie came close.
How funky is your chicken? How funky is your chicken? How loose is your goose? Our goose is totally loose. So come on, all you hot fans. So come on, all you hot fans. And shake your caboose. And shake your caboose.
Close. Number 7. Okay, so I'm cheating a little bit as this one did already exist prior to the movie, but to me this is the 7 version. I will always immediately associate this version of the Nine Inch Nails song with the deranged opening titles of the horror thriller masterpiece that is 7. Closer is already a delightfully dark song. But apparently for David Fincher it wasn't dark enough. So they used a remix of the great and in my opinion far superior experimental industrial group Coil. Just to listen to those glitches, scratches and screeches. They seem to crawl from your ear right into your brain. You can put it on anything innocent and make it disturbing. Look. It's a twisted and unsettling opening song for a twisted and unsettling film. It may not be originally written for the movie, but nonetheless it well deserves its spot on this list. Number 6. Monster Dog. Monster Dog is a horrible movie, but not only is it very bad, it's also very weird. What would you expect from the same guy who did Troll 2? As if the film wasn't bizarre enough on its own, it stars Alice Cooper. You heard right, Alice Cooper was the star of a horrible Italian-Spanish monster movie about killer dogs. What, did he also really want a new car? And since they got him to play the lead, they must have figured, hey, why not let him do the opening song? Hell, why don't we go all the way and open the film with a music video? You heard right, a music video. To be fair, Alice Cooper plays a rock star in the movie as well, so it isn't that far-fetched. But isn't it really convenient? Yeah, and if he happened to be the Pope, the movie would open with an entire mass, right? The reason this song is on this list is because its mere existence is so bizarre and mind-boggling that you just can't help but love it.
Not bad, huh? Not bad. It stinks.